This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists.
A rally of white supremacists turns deadly. A car driven into a crowd kills one. The man behind the wheel is under arrest. The details are coming up. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Conan. Welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on local reaction to the events in Charlottesville coming up. But first, our top 7 stories at 7. And we begin with the events this weekend in Virginia that resulted in the deaths of a woman and 2 state troopers. 20-year-old James Fields Jr. is accused of driving his car into a group of protesters at a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville. At least 19 people were injured. 32-year-old Heather Hare was killed. 2 Virginia state troopers died when their helicopter crashed into a wooded area nearby. Today, President Trump said what he was roundly criticized for not saying over the weekend.
Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans.
Trump also says anyone who acted criminally in Charlottesville will be held fully accountable. New details tonight on a former Manatee County Sheriff's deputy now facing a battery charge. 39-year-old Stephen Buckle was arrested by Venice police. The 17-year-old victim told officers Buckle approached her while she was alone on the Venice beach and kissed and grabbed her repeatedly without consent. According to the police report, Buckle also sent text messages to the victim. Buckle has resigned from the Manatee Sheriff's Office. New developments tonight in a hit and run that left a man seriously injured. Sarasota police are charging Devon Watts of Sarasota with failing to stop. He was involved in an accident on April 11th at the intersections of North Pineapple Avenue and 1st Street. Police say Watts was driving a pickup truck that hit a Sarasota man and fled the scene. Ryan Ware was taken to Sarasota Memorial Hospital and is still recovering. Back to school today in Sarasota County, and several schools got a big surprise. More students than they expected. Both Venice's middle school and high school have at least 60 more students than projected. The schools are trying to accommodate the students.
It still sets a tone for the expectations of our school and the culture that we want them to exist in.
Don't fret, kids. There are only 179 days of school left until summer 2018. Already, some principals in Manatee County are asking for legal guidance on how to handle situations with transgender students. Specifically, which bathrooms should transgender students use? There's no policy in place in Manatee County School District. Transgender students are offered private bathrooms. Those identifying as female are not allowed to use the women's room. Students who identify as male are not allowed to use the men's restroom.
We're in the business of education of all students, and that particular business is to ensure student privacy and to give them the best, free, appropriate public education as possible, whether it's a transgender student or any student.
Manatee County School says it does not tolerate any bullying, harassment, or discrimination of any students. Governor Rick Scott wants to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot, making it harder for legislators to raise taxes or fees. Scott, who is considering running for the U.S. Senate, wants the measure to go before voters in 2018. If it is passed by 60% of the voters, state legislators could not pass any future taxes or fees without a supermajority vote. Several other states, including California, have similar restrictions. And finally, a shout out to Sarasota's own Skiarees celebrating a national championships. The Skiarees won first place at the 43rd annual show Ski National Championships, beating out 14 other teams from across the country. This is the first time the Skiarees have taken place in the competition since 1998. The Skiarees won high marks in showmanship, sound crew, ballet, swivel, star doubles, and overall show, which was based on Star Wars. The Skiarees will begin their free public shows on Sunday, September 24th in Sarasota, right next door to the Marine Lab. And Bob, we wish them congratulations.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of actually skiing with them on that pyramid a long time ago, 25 years ago, and we didn't fall, so I was happy about that. A great show they put on, and congratulations to the skieries. We are looking at not much rain out there, not many storms out there, so it would be a good evening for some skiing if you wanted to do so. Flat conditions out on the waters right now. You can see from the Sarasota Bay shot right there, it looks pretty good. 88 degrees currently, and the heat index 97. There are no cooling storms around. Typically when we get the line of storms that move through, temperatures cool down at the upper 70s. But that's not the case lately, and the pressure is falling ever so slightly at 2997. Well, sparse rain on the radar here, and that's a direct result of some dry air. Occasionally a shower pops up here and there, but not much. And if it's around, it's only going to be around for about 20 minutes if you see anything at all. And it looks like we have a lone shower in the northern portion of Manatee County. I mentioned that dry air. You can see it streaming in from the Bahamas right there. And that, again, is a result of this low pressure system in the upper levels of the atmosphere with some dry air coming in from the Atlantic. That'll stick around, too, for at least one more day. Your evening planner looks like this. We'll see warm temperatures. At 11 o'clock, 82 degrees, and a dew point temperature up near 75 will make it feel about 90 at 11 o'clock tonight. So it's going to stay warm. The temperatures right now across our region, upper 80s for the most part. The water temperature at 91 degrees. And Northport, you're at 90. Inglewood at 88, 88 in Punta Gorda. Well, we're watching the 7th named storm of the season. Its name is Gert, and it may develop into a hurricane here soon as it's over some very warm water. The news on it, it's going to stay away from the United States. It's going to move north, then eventually northeast, missing Bermuda too, so no real threat to any land area at this time. There's another area of disturbed weather that we are watching out in the Atlantic and appears to be developing, a 60% chance, but it's way out there in the Atlantic. No threat to any land for the next week or so, so we'll update you on that.
No spaghetti models yet.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, white supremacists gathered in Charlottesville, Virginia over the weekend, and when they were confronted, it got violent. What did President Trump say or not say about it? More when we return.
Just go do it. Go do it. If you're not in control, then who is? Live above the influence.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job. I am Goodwill, yeah.
So you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half-mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid, your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you'd call now.
Call 1-800-319-0237.
Independence U, for an independent you.
Call 1-800-319-0237.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
President Trump is facing intense criticism for how he took and responded to the events in Charlottesville over the weekend and what he said and did not say. Much of the blowback is coming from fellow Republicans. ABC's David Wright has more.
We're closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia.
The president said the hate and division seen in Charlottesville have no place in America.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides.
But Trump declined to call out the white nationalists who organized this event or to call the car incident domestic terrorism. This morning, that comment denouncing bigotry on many sides is under fire, even from some of the president's Republican colleagues. Senator Ted Cruz put out his own statement calling the attack a grotesque act of domestic terrorism, posting that the Nazis, the KKK, and white supremacists are repulsive and evil, and all of us have a moral obligation to speak out. Senator John McCain tweeted, "White supremacists aren't patriots, they're traitors. America must unite against hatred and bigotry." And Senator Orrin Hatch also commented on Twitter, "We should call evil by its name. My brother didn't give his life fighting Hitler for Nazi ideas to go unchallenged here at home."
No matter our color, creed, religion, or political party, we are all Americans first.
Also under scrutiny, the time it took the president to respond. As these horrific scenes were unfolding, the first response from the White House came not from the president, but the First Lady. She tweeted, "Our country encourages freedom of speech, but let's communicate without hate in our hearts. No good comes from violence." #Charlottesville. It took her husband 40 minutes more to send out his first tweet. Reporters sought to press the president.
Mr. President, do you want the support of these white nationalist groups?
He ignored them.
Back when we come back, we have a diversity of points of view, and we have it covered, the Suncoast take on Charlottesville, when we take it to the trapezoid.
When you want to get away from it all, to a place where you can do everything, or nothing at all, surrounded by natural beauty and all the modern amenities you might desire, then you'll want to be here at the Wanna Be Inn on the beautiful shores of Manasota Key, Florida. To plan your escape, log on to wannabein.com.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now, 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
You might feel like there's too many problems in the world, or that, you as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old can't really make a difference.
It's not always about you. It's not just one person. It's a group. It's a team.
Just that simple act is transforming someone else's life.
It's one of the best feelings in the world.
It'll just make you feel so good about yourself.
I'd do anything to convince you just to be a part of this.
Keep up with your investments and market trends by watching the ABC7 Stock Report. Get a recap of all the day's stock market activity. Be sure to watch your Suncoast News at 6 for the ABC7 Stock Report, sponsored by Sunset Cadillac.
Welcome back. If you were disturbed about what happened in Charlottesville this weekend and what the president said or didn't say until today, you better get used to it, folks. It turns out the FBI and Department of Homeland Security have been warning since May white supremacist groups have carried out more attacks than any other domestic extremist group over the last 16 years and, quote, we're likely to carry out more attacks over the next year. In fact, we're hearing about round 2 on September 11th. Of all days, white nationalist groups and other groups are planning to hold a White Lives Matter rally at Texas A&M. And we just learned that the university has canceled that White Lives Matter rally, which underscores just what is going on here. And here to talk about this, as well as the criticism about the president's response, are Trevor Harvey, the president of the Sarasota County branch of the NAACP, Rod Thompson, the president of the Sarasota Republican Club, Susan Nylon of Nylon and Associates, and Reverend Russell Meyer, the executive director of the Florida Council of Churches. Thank you all for being here tonight. And Trevor, the president today finally said the words that so many Republican and Democrat wanted him to say over the weekend. What's your reaction to it?
Well, I feel that the president's comments are a dollar short and a day late. It's 2 days, 48 hours after the incident occurred on Saturday, and I think the president should immediately stood up on that day and called these groups out for what they are. Immediately demand the Department of Justice to order an investigation on it, because we cannot not just sit by and not say anything. Yes, he said something today, but unfortunately, I think it's just too late.
Rod, why did he wait so long?
Two thoughts on it. First one is that I think we have to remember when he said it on Saturday, and in real time, everything was unfolding at that point. Trump's gotten in a lot of trouble, including with people like me, for shooting his mouth off before he had all the information. The one time he actually seems to be measured, and people are going to suspect his motives, but he's actually measured here, still gets in trouble. So he says, all right, bigotry, hatred, it's wrong on all sides. So, okay, a little soft, but there it is. There was a bunch of violence going on. Today, he gets it out there, he gets it right. What everybody was saying, we got to have him say, he needs to say, he needs to say, he said it all, still not good enough.
But the key phrase that you just mentioned there is on all sides. And Susan, that is what really evoked a pretty incredible response by both Democrats and Republicans and everybody in between.
Yeah, I think he totally ignored what the issue is, which to me it said he wasn't even really paying attention to it. He gave a comment because he was expected to give a comment, but he didn't really understand what the problem was. And I think that inflamed a lot of people. And yeah, you're absolutely right. There isn't all sides. There's the right side. There's the side of the Americans. There's the side of our civil liberties. So for him to ride a fence was totally inappropriate when people died.
I want to get more into the all sides issue later on in the broadcast, but Reverend Meyer, you were at a rally last night in Tampa talking about people basically coming together. The president, did he say enough today to your satisfaction at least?
Well, he's very hopeful in what he said today, and so I want to look forward. I don't want to look backwards. Two great things happened today. First, the president and our governor both named evil for what evil is. Long time coming. We have to remember that the day after he announced his campaign, Dylan Roof went into Manuel Emanuel and tried to start this race war. And what's happening in Charlottesville is a continuation of the same narrative that has been building up. For him to say that is very, very important. And I would just want to point out, Anonymous took down Stormtrooper, which is their primary network for organizing these rallies.
You know, you mentioned the governor, and the Governor Rick Scott, our governor, today said that neo-Nazis, white supremacists have no place in the state of Florida. But Trevor, there was some publication that put out a map today of Florida showing how many hate groups are in this state and in our general area. How often are you confronted with them or confronted about their presence here locally?
Well, you know, we for a long time, the NAACP and other civil rights organizations for many of years had to deal with those subtle issues as far as hate groups are concerned. I mean, there's oftentimes we get phone calls from people from around the community, you know, that Confederate flags have been, you know, posted in their yards or, you know, on their mailboxes, or a noose has been hanging on their mailbox or their front door. So we get those type of calls and those type of complaints all the time.
All right, we're going to pick up on this more in a moment. We are just getting warmed up, and we'll have more right after we check First Alert weather.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089, 800-329-3089.
Join the fun at the Weddings of Sarasota 17th Annual Wedding Show at the iconic Sarasota Municipal Auditorium on US 41. Sunday, August 27th from noon to 4. Enjoy food, fun, and entertainment with a runway show on stage at 3 p.m. $2,000 in Weddings of Sarasota dollars given out after the runway show. You must be present to win. Pre-register at weddingsofsarasota.com. Brides and grooms are free if registered by midnight on August 25th. Weddings of Sarasota. Register today.
Our conversation continues right after we check our forecast with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Bob Harry.
Thanks, Alan. Right now, here's a Lakewood Ranch webcam. This is a time lapse of the camera out there showing some clouds around earlier today, and they're all kind of pushing east now. And once in a while, one tries to break out and become a brief shower, maybe even producing a few lightning strikes, but that's about it. Because the air is just so dry and temperatures are going to stay warm, and there's not much rain in the forecast through this evening. At 11 o'clock, 83 degrees expected temperature, a few clouds around, and the heat index will be in the low 90s at that point. Titan radar review showing some activity to the north of us. That's kind of suppressed this high pressure ridge, and so we're getting this onshore flow. And with this onshore flow, what we see is a west wind throughout the morning hours, and that allows us to see a few coastal showers in the morning due to the land breeze that's set up overnight. And then the showers that do form push off toward the east coast late in the day. Normally we get an easterly wind overnight and throughout much of the morning, causing those showers and storms to work back toward the coast. But that hasn't been the case today. Now we had just one lone shower pop up in East Sarasota County, that pushing off to northeast, and one there right along I-75 just north of Venice. This one again won't be around long, just maybe 20 minutes or so. This one's going to be around for a long time. And this is looking a little bit better organized at this point. Top winds at 70 miles an hour. It is the 7th named storm of the season. Its name is Gert, and it is going to stay away from the U.S. coast as a direct impact, but we will see some high surf along the Carolina coast all the way down into East Florida. Now, the heat index is at 97, sunshine currently, and the dew point 74. The pressure has been falling ever so slightly to 9.97 inches. The high today was 1 degree above average at 91. 77, the morning low, that was well above the average, which is typically right around 74. We had 0.07 of an inch of rainfall with a brief shower that fell this morning. We're over 2.5 inches below average now for a month. That's typically very active in terms of rainfall. Well, the forecast for Tuesday hourly looks like this. It'll start off warm, low 80s, and warm into the low 90s with a heat index up near 100 in the afternoon. The rain chance tomorrow very small, only at 20%. Well, way out there in the Atlantic, we're talking about a disturbance now. There's no real sign of any centralized area of low pressure at this point, but the Hurricane Center is giving this a 60% chance developing down the road. Well, there goes Gert. It misses Bermuda and it misses the United States. It kind of goes right in between the two. It is expected to become a hurricane later on tonight. It would be the second hurricane of the season. And typically 90% of all the energy generated by tropical systems in the Atlantic Basin occur after August 10th. So we are starting that very active time frame. And with this in mind, we'll keep an eye on the forecast path and track of our disturbance out there. It looks like a pretty good chance of it developing over the next 5 days. Not so much over the next couple of days. If it were to develop, it would move on a westerly course and become more northwesterly in time. Hopefully it follows a similar path of what we saw with Gert. Now, the forecast for us calling for a few coastal showers during the morning. You can see this is at 4 a.m. Showers are developing, nothing rough at this point. And then those kind of move on inland in the afternoon, and you'll see that line there pushing off toward the east for the most part. By Wednesday, we start to moisten up a little bit as some tropical moisture comes up from the Caribbean. Especially on Thursday and Friday, you'll notice a better chance for rain. West winds for boaters, not much out there. Light chop on the bays and inland waters. Water temperature 92 now. That's about as hot as it gets. 92 degrees. That's taken at the end of the Venice Pier. And the beach is expected to see a high of 90 tomorrow. Low tide will be at 12:35. And then another high tide at 6:19 tomorrow morning. Sunset should be a good one, 8:08. Partly cloudy, warm and muggy tonight. 79 for your first alert forecast. And then for tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, 91. Just a 20% chance for a few scattered showers. The extended forecast gradually getting more rain in our picture on Thursday and then continuing through the weekend. Alan will be back with his panel right after this. Stick around.
Attention! Royal Seas Cruises has just announced their deal of the day, a $99 Caribbean cruise for 2 people. This amazing cruise deal to the Bahamas is only available to the first 500 callers who register in your area today. So get ready to write down this number and act fast. We know that the best type of traveler is a repeat guest, so we're offering this $99 Caribbean cruise to prove it. That's $99 per couple, including your stateroom, all your delicious meals, full spa, live entertainment, 3 kids clubs, and more. Come see why we were voted one of the top 10 best overall cruises by Cruise Critic. We're so sure you'll enjoy yourself and become a repeat customer that you're getting this deal of the day for the unbelievable low price of just $99 per couple. But you've got to act fast. Pick up the phone and be one of the first 500 callers to take the Caribbean cruise of a lifetime for just $99 per couple. Call right now or log on to royalcruisenow.com.
Call 800-906-0489.
40 million. That's the number of free phones still available and the number of how many Americans can still get prescriptions free.
Free could be wonderful.
That's why I'm still working at 77 years old to pay off my prescriptions.
I needed to have a prescription filled and I had to leave because I couldn't afford it.
Call now and see what's available for you. Free prescriptions. Over 10 million people get prescriptions free, and the program has expanded so another 40 million can. Free dental. Over 15,000 dentists have provided over $330 million in free dental work. Free cell phones. 40 million free cell phones are still available with free minutes and more.
Free cell phone would change my life right now because it is something I cannot afford to get.
Medical supplies like back braces, knee braces, and diabetic supplies may be covered too. The free RX Plus hotline has saved callers over $12 million on their prescription costs. These free programs are now available to 40 million more people. Call now.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Welcome back. We are talking about reaction on the Suncoast to the events this weekend in Charlottesville, Virginia. White supremacists clash with protesters. A woman was killed when a self-described white nationalist allegedly plowed his car into a crowd, and 2 state troopers died when their helicopter crashed while flying above. Joining us for more are Trevor Harvey, president of the Sarasota County branch of the NAACP, Rod Thompson, president of the Sarasota Republican Club, and Susan Nylon of Nylon and Associates, and Reverend Russell Meyer, the executive director of the Florida Council of Churches. I'm going to bring up a subject that is really exploding when you watch this on the different network broadcasts, of the issue of moral equivalency. Obviously, you had 2 or more opposing groups clashing in Charlottesville. The people who came there to protest the white supremacists, they had shields. They were ready for confrontation. And so when you watch some of the discussions on the cable networks, you have some people say, well, the other side was there ready for a fight as well. Trevor, I'm wondering what you thought when you hear those people make that argument.
I guess it can go. I guess it can go both ways. The group could have anticipated that something was going to happen, so they wanted to make sure that they were protected. Or they could have actually been looking for something. I mean, you don't know. Media is going to put its twist on it, however they see fit to put the twist on it. So you really don't know with them already coming out with shields and stuff. Really, what was their mindset?
Reverend Meyer, from your own experiences that sometimes these rallies take place, and people go there for the best of intentions, but the other people hijack the message.
Well, that's true. But I think what happened in Charlottesville wasn't a hijack at all. If you study the alt-right and the white supremacists, they want a race war. They're trying to start one. And they're going to highly symbolic places, really trying to start things up. And Dylan Roof was part of that network. He lived on the deep web with all of it. He thought he would be the great white hero by starting the race war. So there is no moral equivalency with a race war. Carrying a Nazi flag and talking racist nonsense is what millions of Americans died to make certain would never come to this country. My stepdad, I buried at Arlington, commander, a Navy pilot who fought in World War II. Arlington is filled with people who died so that rhetoric wouldn't be here, and it is banned in Germany.
Rod, the reaction has really not been partisan because, as we showed in the network story, you have people from Ted Cruz to Marco Rubio to Orrin Hatch. I know you have strong feelings about this, that there is a difference in your opinion between conservative Republicans, and the alt-right.
Correct, and that's exactly why you've seen bipartisan condemnation, why you've seen plenty of Republicans condemning this openly and clearly, because the alt-right has nothing to do with American conservatism or the right wing in America. That's why they called themselves the alternative right, because they're not the actual right. And the truth of the matter is, the alt-right does not believe in the Declaration of Independence. They do not believe in the Constitution. They do not believe in individual liberties. They do not believe that all men are created equally under God. These are bedrock principles of American conservatism, and they oppose all of them. They believe that Western civilization was built by whites, and without whites running it, it's going to fall apart. Well, that is totally antithetical to what conservatives believe. And everybody I know that understands the alt-right, which frankly isn't that many Republicans, but everybody I know that understands them says these are bad people with odious and poisonous ideas, and they need to be called out.
But Susan, you still hear the argument of moral equivalency about whether there are groups on the right and the left who are basically ginning up the violence.
Yeah, and there actually are. I mean, I've been in rallies myself where the groups that basically infiltrate your position to basically hook on to your rally and turn it into something else. We saw that during the Women's March. We saw that during the inauguration. All the violence that happened during the inauguration, the liberals got blamed for it, and it had nothing to do with our group. They tried to do it at the Women's March, and they were unsuccessful because of who was in attendance. But I do want to say, everything that Rod just said, I would have loved the president to have said the first time out.
Yeah, Trevor, you're laughing.
Yeah, well, that's my whole point in this whole conversation is, yes, we've had bipartisan individuals come out and speak about the condemnation of what happened Saturday, but we're not getting it from our president, and I think that's the biggest concern here. When we go back to what I call Daddy Bush and Son Bush, Bush 1 and Bush 2, when these kinds of things arose, and these two very strong Republican presidents, they hit these issues dead on. Yep. You know, they came out and they called these radical extremist domestic terrorists what they were. They hit them dead on. But our president, for some reason, has a hesitation with doing that. He called President Obama out. He felt that President Obama wasn't calling these groups what they were when he was on the campaign trail and running the campaign. But now that the shoe is on the other foot, he's basically doing the same thing that he called President Obama for.
Rod, nobody is quicker in 140 characters than Donald J. Trump. And you know, look, you had a CEO who quit one of his task forces today because of his lack of response, and within an hour he is going after that CEO. Right. What Trevor just said there is something that a lot of people notice, that he does not attack this with the same kind of vigor.
But he did today. I mean, it was pretty, at noon, his noon speech today was pretty pointed. I think it covered all of the bullet points that everybody wanted.
But he had no choice.
Yeah, well, okay, you can say he had no choice. I think he's the president. I think Trump clearly has a lot of choices. He's constantly doing things that I wish he wouldn't do, and he does them anyway, even when he gets pushback. But I also want to mention on moral equivalency. There isn't a moral equivalency between the alt-right and the groups opposing them as far as what they stand for. There isn't any. The alt-right is just disgusting. Where there is equivalency is that they were both violent. And the leader of that Antifa, they are all over the country promoting violence. They were at the Women's March. They were in Seattle today against a prayer vigil. They were working it up. They were in Berkeley. They were in UC Davis. They are all over the country. They are a violent Marxist organization. I am not saying that they are equivalent to the alt-right, but I am saying they are a problem, and I would like to see the left call them out also.
Reverend Meyer, let me give you an opportunity to do so, because that is an argument that you often hear, this Antifa, that we're just really kind of learning about what that is. Have you seen them in all the rallies and you know, things that you have gone to, and what's your position when they show up at an event where you're trying to express quite a different message? So,
yeah, there's this very strong anarchist movement in this country that has been generated because of the neglect of these various issues. I mean, Steve Bannon is in the White House, and he created the alt-right communication network. He is still in the White House, whatever the president's statement is. Gorski, this other Hungarian,
Sebastian Gorski,
has real concerns. And so my perspective is Kenyan nonviolence, and we don't do enough in training and preparation strategy and really programming. We've lost a generation or two of people who actually knew how to train folks in putting love in the street. And our way forward as a nation, our only way forward, is the Hartfield, is love. And we need to be creating more space for that. And the more our political leaders can use that language and move whatever their base is, whatever the political position is saying, we can gather in peaceful assembly with love for our neighbor, whatever their political opinion.
But is that message lost sometimes when you see events like this weekend, and you know, we know who's responsible for the deaths there, but you do see people who are saying, well, you know, Antifa was there, and they're a radical organization promoting violence, and so the right has their crazies and the left has their crazies.
But it's not acceptable, and I think, first of all, we need to address this as terrorism, and that's really what it is, and we need to treat it as terroristic activities. It goes beyond just the freedom of speech or the right to protest. When they arrive at a destination with the intent of creating violence, it's terrorism.
Okay, we have to take a quick break, and we'll be back with final thoughts right when we return.
When you want to get away from it all, to a place where you can do everything, or nothing at all, surrounded by natural beauty and all the modern amenities you might desire, then you'll want to be here at the Wanna Be Inn. on the beautiful shores of Manasota Key, Florida. To plan your escape, log on to wannabein.com.
When I was growing up, my mom told us, always treat others the way you want to be treated. She did business with companies that shared her values, like Mutual of Omaha. She had a guaranteed whole life insurance policy through United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, a Mutual of Omaha company. When my mother passed away, her United of Omaha policy helped cover her funeral expenses and bills, and they had money on its way to us within 24 hours.
United of Omaha is here to take care of you. When you call the number on your screen, we'll help find the right policy for you. If you're between 45 and 85, you can get coverage up to $25,000 with no medical exam. Call us right now at the number on your screen.
Now I know I'll be taking care of my family, even after I'm gone.
United of Omaha guaranteed whole life insurance. Call or go online now. Be there for their future.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. And Trevor, after watching what happened Friday and Saturday and Sunday, what's your takeaway?
Yeah, my takeaway is that although we live in the greatest land on the face of this earth, I think America is the place to live and to raise a family, we still have deep issues and wounds that needs to be dealt with, in this country. Just as we call other countries out for terrorism, we're in this heated discussion going on with North Korea. The same thing that we need to do with those kinds of issues that are happening on our home front.
Rod, I said at the outset the FBI is saying that far right-wing groups are responsible for more of these attacks over the last 16 years and more are to come. What crosses your mind when you hear that?
That the divisions in our country are real and getting deeper. Unfortunately, they're going the opposite direction of where they were in '63 when Martin Luther King gave his I Have a Dream speech, which I just adore that speech. It still gives me chills. We went in the right direction for a little while, I feel like we were, and now we've been going in the wrong direction for a while. I think identity politics is part of it. That's on the left, and now it's definitely on the right. But it's not, I shouldn't say that. It's on the left and it's in the alt-right. It's not so much in conservatism. But I think as much as we can look at ourselves at this table as 5 Americans and not as a black guy and a white guy and a reverend and a white woman and a journalist. If we can look at ourselves as Americans first, that goes a long ways.
Susan, if you read our viewer comments, you know that some of the opinions out there are a little bit more severe than that.
Oh, yeah. Dialogue is more severe than that. And I think people need to recognize we're always throwing out the First Amendment and our right to free speech, but not all speech is protected. And I think we need to have a better understanding of exactly what that is. I also want to piggyback a little bit on what Rod said, is that at some point in time, your neighbor down the street, a family member, somebody is at a vulnerable point in their life where they finally attach themselves to a group like the alt-right because they're speaking their language. And the reason they get to that point is because we didn't even notice that they were at that place where they were the most vulnerable. And that's when we should have stepped in. That's when Americans should have said, we need to be there for them.
Reverend Meyer, I'll ask you the same question I asked Rod. The FBI says these attacks are up more in the last 6 months. Why do you think that's so?
There's a lot of pain in our society across the board, and people who are on the margins are experiencing it dreadfully. African Americans, Latinos, Native Americans have been experiencing it for a very, very long time. And we are reversing economically. This generation is worse off than any generation going forward. And so if we don't get a handle on this, we're going to see more of it.
We'll have to leave it there. But before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying. President Trump spoke about the racial divide in the U.S., but some people are not happy about how he approached the issue when speaking about the incident in Charlottesville, Virginia. We went to Facebook to hear what you thought about how the president handled the situation. And Jim says, 8 months into Trump's regime, and we're on the brink of nuclear war and have marchies not marching on our streets. Lindsay has some strong words, and she says it will take more than a 4-year term for any president to fix all that has been going on for years. And Rose Marie ends our comments by saying, tonight, I am tired of people of color moaning about the president. He hasn't divided anyone. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions. They're on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. I want to thank all our guests for being here tonight. Trevor Harvey is the president of the Sarasota chapter of the NAACP. Rod Thompson is the president of the Sarasota Republican Club. Susan Nylon is with Nylon and Associates, and Reverend Russell Meyer is the executive director of the Florida Council of Churches. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather, and we'll have more after this break. Plus, what some of our folks are saying about the U.S. is now saying to North Korea. So stay with us.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our forecast from First Alert Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. Right now, Anna Maria webcam showing what's been going on since 4 o'clock this afternoon, and not much. Lots of sunshine out there and calm conditions as we have those clouds coming in from the west, and that's on a westerly flow. And it looks as though we're going to see a beautiful sunset here coming up just after 8 o'clock. If you have a photo, send it to pics@mysuncoast.com. Only a few out there. Isolated showers at best, due to some dry air that has settled in across the peninsula, for that matter, really shutting things down. You can see these showers pop up every once in a while, but they're not around very long. If you get any rain at all, it'll be a brief shower, and not many people are going to get that. You can see that activity east of I-75, another lone shower just into western portions of DeSoto County. Well, temperatures across the area, the warmest reading now is out in the water, 92 degrees, the Gulf water temperature, 90 now in Venice, 88 in Arcadia, 88 in Wauchula, and Punta Gorda the same. Currently, it's 88 at Sarasota Bradenton Airport with the dew point way up there at 74 degrees. That makes it feel much warmer, and the pressure is holding steady now at 2997. The high today, 91, and that's 1 degree above average. The morning lows are going to be above average as a result of that westerly flow, too. 0.07 of an inch, that's all we could squeeze out of the shower this morning as it moved on through. And we may have a chance for a few more morning showers tomorrow. There'll be 1 or 2 around, and they'll move quickly off to the east. Now, as far as the winds go, they're not all that strong and not expected to get all that strong over the upcoming days. They'll stay out of the west. On Tuesday, they'll start to veer a little bit out of the south on Wednesday, and then we should see more showers and storms returning by Thursday. Well, out in the Atlantic, we have two systems now we're watching. One just coming off the coast of Africa. Just got an update from the National Hurricane Center on this system way out there in the Atlantic. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Here's our closer system. This is Gert, and it's moving off to the north, expected to become the second hurricane of the season, and then veer to the northeast in time. And in terms of the system out in the Atlantic, well, the Hurricane Center now still keeps it at a 60% chance developing over the next 5 days. But what's interesting to note is that the forecast in the next 5 days is going to stay a little bit further south. The spaghetti models are out, 60% chance, there they are. And you see they're all kind of clustered around the northern islands here. A few take it off to the east, but this one bears watching down the road. No concerns right now, but certainly it does bear watching. And there's the cone of really where it's expected to go. Well, Gert is expected to go to the north, staying away from the U.S., and eventually head off into the open waters of the Atlantic. By the way, the next named storm is Harvey. Harvey is the next one up on the list. Well, here's what's happening for boaters tomorrow. Not much out there. A west wind at 10 knots, a light chop. And looks like sunset is coming up after 8 o'clock tonight. Sunrise will be at 7:01. Tonight, partly cloudy, and a shower could develop along the coast, say after midnight. 20% chance for showers tomorrow, high of 91. And the extended forecast does call for better chances for rain as we head into the weekend. Al will be back with prime time headlines right after this.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $10 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received J.D. Power Awards for highest customer service. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317, go online, or visit a Target store today.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
It's Lincoln's summer sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKX Sport Utility for $349 per month, or Lincoln's flagship, the 2017 Continental, for $449 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Sun Coast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Checking our primetime headlines, the United States has a message for North Korea. We want peace. This comes as North Korea is putting the finish touches on the plan to fire missiles around the U.S. territory of Guam. Kristen Holmes is in Guam with the latest.
As the threat of a North Korean missile launch looms,
The focus today is on peacefully resolving this crisis.
the U.S.'s top military official, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Dunford, arriving in South Korea for talks with the country's leader and U.S. military, aimed at reassuring allies and easing tensions.
And we are seeking a peaceful resolution to the crisis right now, and that's an important
an important message.
Currently, military figures of the rogue nation building a plan to fire 4 missiles into the waters surrounding Guam. In a statement last week, a leader of the Korean People's Army said the move is meant to, quote, signal a crucial warning to the U.S., and that the plan would be ready to present to leader Kim Jong-un by mid-August.
He does something in Guam, it will be an event the likes of which nobody's seen before, what will happen in North Korea.
The governor of Guam reassuring the island's roughly 160,000 residents that they are prepared for anything.
There has been no change in security threat levels. And I encourage not only our residents to live business as usual, and whether it's at work or at play.
In Guam, I'm Kristen Holmes reporting.
Meanwhile, President Trump is putting pressure on China, calling for an investigation into alleged unfair trade practices by China. The president is directing the U.S. Trade Representative to determine if an investigation is needed. It is the first step in potentially allowing the U.S. to take punitive action against China over trade. Trump's order looks specifically at allegations of Chinese theft of U.S. intellectual property, which by one estimate costs the U.S. economy up to $600 billion a year. A suspect is under arrest after allegedly trying to blow up a bank in Oklahoma City. The FBI arrested 23-year-old Jerry Drake Varnell early Saturday. According to court documents, Varnell was upset with the government. They say he loaded what was thought to be a bomb in a van, parked it next to a bank, and attempted to detonate it. The bomb was a fake, part of an FBI operation involving an undercover agent posing as someone who could help with the attack. Varnell faces up to 20 years in prison. The judge in the case of El Chapo isn't guaranteeing the accused drug cartel leader's private lawyer will be paid. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was in a Brooklyn federal court today for a pretrial hearing. The accused Mexican drug lord was extradited to the U.S. to face trial after several daring escapes from Mexican jails. The question is whether the government would seize any of the money he tries to pay a private lawyer with. The judge says the government could choose to take the money. A former attorney for John Gotti Jr. says he plans to represent El Chapo, but needs to make sure that he will get paid. A SpaceX Dragon spacecraft is on its way to the International Space Station with one of the most high-tech payloads ever delivered there. Hewlett-Packard's new supercomputer could be the most powerful computer ever to operate on a space station. NASA says it will be valuable in the process of defining satellite images on Earth. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.